Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Saturday HOA Brunch, presented by Angius&Terry, LLP. Please sit back, relax, and join Brad Epstein and Jonathan Broderick for an hour of entertaining information about HOAs and HOA law.
Good morning, Sacramento. It's a beautiful, sunny day. And Frank, the mic's a little bit loud. Can you turn it down? Thanks. And I have a great idea this morning, Sacramento.
Big mouth.
Again, we're going to talk about community associations. And we have a special guest in studio.
Ryan Haney with Consortium, CID Consortium in Roseville. Ryan Haney, it's going to be a fantastic conversation with him. Why don't you go ahead and say hi to our audience?
Hello, Sacramento. My name
right.
is Ryan Haney. I'm with CID Consortium and CEO Holdings. I'm new to the business. I just started a couple days ago. My job is going to be business development and client retention, basically sales and making sure that we keep the sales that we gain.
Oh, retention. It's important, right?
Yes, retention is very important. As you know, in the business, it's a very political business, and you have to make sure that your clients are happy, and you have to make sure that the clients are taken care of.
Fantastic. So we're going to hear more from Ryan, right,
Absolutely,
Jonathan?
yeah.
Yeah, and so we're going to do a kind of a new legislation update / fiduciary duty type of a show today, and we're going to end it all with our favorite part, right? Favorite part of the show, and that
Battle of the
Board members again?
is Battle of the Board members again. So new legislation, and so there's a couple of new state bills that are progressing through, and there's a federal bill that is progressing through. Probably won't make it through, but it's interesting, and
Should we give the listeners a number or a text line possibly to get a hold of us?
I think we should.
I think that's one of the must-dos every time you're on the radio is give out your number so people can chime in with their opinions and insights. So 888-923-1380 if you have a question for Ryan Haney or the counselor Brad Epstein, and your favorite line, the text line.
916-747-4622. 916-747-4622. So that is our text line. Call in at 888-923-1380. And we want to hear from you. And then we'll have Battle of Board members later. And so, Ryan, again, so your company is CID Consortium. And am I pronouncing that right? Sometimes I call your company Consortium. Sometimes I call it Consortium.
I think it's kind of like the tomato.
Right.
I always say consortium. A lot of people do say consortium. I think it can be pronounced either way.
And it's not like your company is brand new. Your company has been around for as long as I have been in the business, at least. Right?
I believe my dad started the first version of this company in 1978. And then we rebranded a couple of years ago, about 3 years ago,
right.
Because we wanted to handle more than the other company could. And also we wanted to change the LLC model. So our company is able to work with other companies to create a common goal. So it creates an exit strategy for other HOA management company owners.
I got you. So it's all about HOAs, but tell us a little bit about your dad. He's an icon in the industry, and he's been instrumental in causing a lot of discussion, right, about accounting and different issues concerning community associations.
Yes, my dad is known as the pot stirrer.
That's what I was trying to say in a politically correct way, right?
In the industry right now, what he's doing is he's working on reserve studies. As you know, reserve studies is a really big issue, and people don't understand how important it is to save money for the future.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
There's some consistency, though, because last year when your brother joined us, the famous Adam Haney, one of 3 Haneys in the industry, he discussed the same thing. He said, hey, it's important that these associations learn to save and set up the right reserve study for maintenance projects and the big maintenance projects, because what happens is these associations run into issues where the money's not there when they need it.
The budget, right?
The budget, yeah.
Right. Did you hear yesterday on the radio, it was Governor Brown,
I only
and
listen
he
to our
had to
show.
read it was on our station. He said, "Hey, I had to tell the legislators the story of the grasshopper and the ant. We have to save money, and we can't spend money if things are going to change in our tax revenue in the future." So it's sort of the same situation with community associations. Board members, Ryan, have so much pressure to keep the assessments low. A lot of board members and owners will think, boy, we can't have high assessments if other associations around us don't have high assessments. So this is a regular set. So there's a lot of that pressure, right? And if associations, Jonathan, don't have they don't have assessments that increase, then they're not going to have the ability to put money towards what Ryan said, the reserves.
Ryan, I know you're a humble guy, but there's a couple of things that I want our listeners to know about you. You're very involved in the Chamber of Commerce in Roseville. Mm-hmm. This is the second year in a row, I believe, for Placer County that you've been nominated as Entrepreneur of the Year.
Yes.
And you're also one of the lead guys for the Placer County Young Republicans. Why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the hobbies that you have outside of CEO Consortium?
So, I'm involved with the business community in Roseville. I'm an ambassador for the chamber. I'm on the Membership Communication Council. And outside of business, I'm avid outdoorsman. I could start a fire with two sticks. You wouldn't guess it because I'm always wearing a suit and tie. But love the outdoors. Love to kayak. Love to fish. Go hiking, whatnot.
Excellent. So when you don't find him grinding it out in the community association industry, he will be out fishing or climbing a mountain. Sounds like fun. So let's check in real quick with one of our contestants. We have a contestant on the line, and she's anxiously awaiting her second appearance, on the radio, via radio, phone in. Jessica is calling in. You're going to play Battle of the Board Members today, right, Jessica?
Yes, that's correct. Thank you guys for having me.
Oh, absolutely. I kind of talked you into it, and I appreciate you for accepting our invitation. And do you recall last time we've had so many matches, great matches and epic battles in Battle of the Board Members? What did you win last time?
I did.
She did. So she's an undefeated contestant coming back to join us. How about that, Counselor?
That's great. And Jessica, where are you from? What city are you a board member in?
I'm in the Natomas area. I'm in the Maplewood development.
Fantastic. And how long have you been on the board?
For 8 years.
8 years. So you are a veteran, and so we are expecting some good things about you. Has your association been through any challenges lately, or things been pretty running smoothly?
Everything's been running pretty smoothly. We just got our, I don't know if you call it the cement security gate out front that we got put in. So I'm really excited about that. Other than that, the pool just opened and we're ready for the summer.
Oh, that's great. So you had your privacy gate put in. That's good. And the summertime, is that going to hold some challenges? Do you have? Did you say you had a swimming pool?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's always challenges with the swimming pool.
And we've got another contestant that's calling in. But real quick, let's remind the listeners what this great show is going to be about before we go to break. So you've got this hot legislative update.
We have a hot legislative update. So there's a couple of state bills and a federal bill we're going to talk about, and then we're going to talk about fiduciary duty. So we want our board members to key into those issues, the new legislation and fiduciary duty.
Wow, that's going to be exciting stuff. And then we also have a pioneer in the industry, Brian Haney, because he likes the outdoors and he's in our industry. So I guess I'm going to just consider him a pioneer. We're going to go to break.
Stay with us, and we'll see you after the break.
If your community association has a good relationship with their current management company, you can stop listening. However, if you are struggling with your current service provider, we'd love to talk with you to see if Omni Community Management would be a good fit. Transparency, education, communication, and trust are just 4 of the qualities that set Omni apart. This is Rolf Crocker, CEO of Omni. Call us at 916-965-8964. That's 916-965-8964. Online at omni-mgt.com. That's omni-mgt.com. Omni Community Management, your friend in the community association management industry for over 20 years.
Have you ever heard of the saying, a person's home is their castle? Of course you have. But sometimes a construction defect can turn your castle into a catastrophe. If this happens to you, you need proper and professional representation. You need Angius&Terry, LLP. For over 30 years, the attorneys at Angius&Terry have been effectively serving homeowners and community associations, recovering more than $500 million on behalf of their clients. Angius&Terry strives to ensure that your construction defect claims are prosecuted in an aggressive and cost-effective manner. Angius&Terry will also continue to work with homeowners and community associations after the construction defect claims are concluded to make sure that the money received from builders is spent wisely and that your interests are protected during the repair process. Don't let a construction defect turn your castle into a catastrophe. Call Angius&Terry LLP today at 916-567-1400. That's 916-567-1400. Online at angius-terry.com. Angius&Terry LLP. Professional Parking Enforcement, or PPE, was created to provide effective parking solutions for all types of parking issues. PPE focuses on parking problems of HOAs and can quickly eliminate these problems through their system of property inspection, violation updating, ticketing, and enforcement. Contact PPE today at 702-283-0628, online at ppenv.com. PPE, promoting harmony in HOAs through parking and compliance enforcement. We take time to understand your community's needs.
Silver Creek Association Management.
We solve small problems before they become big ones.
Silver Creek Association Management.
We help make your community a better place to live.
Silver Creek Association Management.
It's what we do, because an association is more than just a bunch of homes. It's a community of people. We work with you to make better communities so homeowners can enjoy better lives.
Silver Creek Association Management. Online at sc-manage.com. That's sc-manage.com.
AM 1380, The Answer.
We're back in studio for the second segment of the Saturday HOA Brunch. We're excited. Ryan Haney just explained to us how we could climb Half Dome, bring the fishing rod, and there's some nice golden trout up there in the Yosemite Valley. So we've got our other contestant on the line. Called in. Michelle, how are you doing this morning? Are you ready to listen to the hot bills that are funneled their way into the legislature? Huh?
I'm very interested.
Very interested. Okay, and how long have you been a board member, Michelle?
About 20 years.
That's right. So I've known Michelle for my entire legal career.
Yeah.
Michelle, we've known each other for a long time. And so Michelle is such a great board member that she probably doesn't want people to know this. She is an award-winning board member. I have seen her a couple years ago. And time flies, but she did win an award for her. It was a management company, and time they had a lot of associations, still do. But in any event, Michelle, what was the award? It was like best board member or hardest working board member.
Probably, I'm sure. Yeah.
Well, congratulations, Michelle. We hope that.
Right. I mean, the reason why she's been on board so long is because she is a great board member. She is shrewd and fair and reasonable and smart, and so just really a great combination that everyone wishes they could be in life. And so she is for her association. So her association is successful, her sport is successful because Michelle is successful. Great board. Yeah, you know that.
Dang.
Come on, you know that.
Well, welcome, Michelle, and it's convenient for you to know now, before we get into all the answers that Counselor Epstein's going to be giving out there during our discussion today. You're going up against an undefeated previous champion.
Oh, pressure, Jonathan.
I want to prepare her for it.
That's right. That's helpful. I got it.
So stay on the line. Listen to this great discussion. We're going to talk a little bit more about Consortium with our guest Ryan Haney. Then we're going to jump into this legislative update, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the law and then duke it out.
Right. And just to be clear, Consortium is a community association management company. However, they have there's a lot of different aspects to it, right?
Yeah, we run the gamut. So we do everything from AR to human resources to payroll to basic bookkeeping to full-blown accounting. We also have management services and collection services. Right now, our busiest department probably would be our management department. We have quite a few HOAs. We brought on a lot of new HOAs last year. So our managers, Lori Harrison and Mike Murray, are very busy. But we run an efficient machine back there. So
right, two great managers, two great people.
Then you have another manager too. I don't want to cut her out of the mix, but you have one down in the Bay Area, right? Michelle.
Oh, Michelle Jacqueline, yes. She's brand new and she does our Bay Area clients. So we have clients running all the way from Hollywood on up to Northern California.
Wow, pretty big scope. But you guys have it dialed in?
Yeah, we have it dialed in, and now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be traveling around to our current clients as well. So I'll be driving or flying and visiting our different HOAs and checking in with them, checking in with the boards, and making sure that they are happy with our services and that they are getting their needs met.
Cool. There was like a jet sound effect, but it wasn't. Ryan's going to be flying around on the private CEO Holdings jet.
I got it.
So I was going to try to throw it
Good
out
job.
there. Epic fail on my part.
I thought it was a pretty good job. Okay, why don't we go to
bills?
One of our bills. Okay, so this bill, Assembly Bill 1799. This is a new bill this year. It is a long time coming. Is really beneficial to community associations. It allows the automatic election of candidates to the board when there is the same or less number of candidates than open seats. It's when there's uncontested election, then you don't need an actual election.
I think it saves money, right?
It
For the
absolutely
associations, yeah.
voids the cost of repeatedly mailing ballots when the results are already known in an uncontested election. And a lot of boards would call it, or managers, board members would call it, an election by acclamation. So it is where directors shall not be required to be elected, so there's not going to be an election if the number of candidates for election, including write-in candidates, if applicable, so it even allows for a process where the governing documents allow for write-ins if the number of directors does not exceed the number of candidates does not exceed the number of directors to be elected at the election. So example, right, so you have 3 directors up for election, and you have only 2 people who have stepped up to the plate to be nominees or candidates. So in that case, a little process that the board of directors can go through. The devil's in the details, but I've read this bill through a couple of times. It's changed a little bit as it's going through the process, but the idea is to give fairness so that everyone has a chance to object and the board of directors can make a reasoned decision, because all board decisions must be reasoned, right, guys?
Absolutely, yep.
Assembly Bill 1799, and it provides that directors shall not be required to be elected if the number of candidates for election does not exceed the number of directors to be elected at that election. So you have open seats of 3, only 2 people running, and then you give a chance for write-ins, and those days go by, and then the board of directors can go ahead and decide, okay, we're not going to have an election. Those candidates who have submitted their names, those owners who have submitted their names to be candidates, they will be the directors. So what's going on with this one then? So the CLAC, right, Jonathan? It supports it, CAI CLAC.
California Legislative Action Committee?
That's it, and it just passed the full assembly, and that was just on Thursday, by a vote of 63-4. So it passed the assembly. No one spoke against it on the floor. So it passed the assembly. Right, I said it's Assembly Bill 1799. So Assembly Bill. So now heads on over to the Senate.
All right, and then they get to decide what they're going to do with it, right?
Right. And want to mention that this is Skip Dom's, the CLAC advocate. It's his last hurrah. So
this is his going out party.
He's finally retiring, so he's really proud of everyone. 702 letters were sent in by community associations through CLAC. 702 letters, and you could kind of measure it out, and that really equals 26,000 people in support, because you will multiply the 702 times 38. Every letter equals like 38 people supporting it. So that's a pretty big message.
Yeah, unified force. So should we just jump into the next one? Assembly Bill 2362. What do you know about that, Counselor?
All right, so this one is concerning it would require a community association to provide notice to an owner or to the tenant, and under particular circumstances to tenants of adjacent units if pesticide is to be applied without a licensed pest control operator.
Oh, I would never want to have an unlicensed pest control operator spraying a bunch of toxic chemicals around my unit.
Right. And in this one, what CAI did, CAI-CLAC, Community Associations Institute, is they amended the bill to provide that this notice that is given to the owner or the tenant or the adjacent tenant to be posted rather than personally delivered.
Well, I wonder if they're going to amend this thing or what's going to transpire in our industry, but I wonder, we have certain rules and steps that need to be taken when things, meetings are posted and notices in communities. I wonder if they're going to say, hey, you've got to post a notice 72 hours before we're going to have a certified pest control sprayer come in. You can't just say, hey, here's your notice. We're going to do it this morning. Good luck.
Right. Again, the devil's in the details. But this is Assembly Bill 2362, and this is working its way through the legislature.
All right, so one more, right? Assembly Bill 1720?
All right, so 1720, AB 1720. So this bill is basically dead, and this one was really dangerous. We were concerned about the costs that associations would incur, so it would require the board to permit a person that represents a member to attend a board meeting, regardless of whether the member attends. And a change was made that it would require written notice to be given where possible. So, in essence, this bill, if it wasn't dead, so this one is pretty much dead, died in committee, and a lot of community association industry advocates opposed this bill. It would permit anyone to come to a board meeting on behalf of a member. So not a real wise bill in a lot of people's minds, no.
I agree. I concur, and Ryan's shaking his head. He doesn't think that it's going to be beneficial for associations to have a ton of representatives at hearings.
I think that would be disastrous.
Excellent. Well, we've got another one, right? Assembly Bill 2760?
Yeah, so this one's interesting. So this is sponsored by the California Association of Realtors, by CAR, California Association of Realtors. And what this would do is it would authorize a residential lease. So you have a residential lease, and it would require a tenant who possesses a support animal, right? A companion pet. And it would require a tenant who has one of those support animals, companion pet, on the premises or within the association, and it would allow the lease to require particular provisions that the tenant must comply with. And for instance, the first one is...
Lay it on us.
Oh, we'll have to hear from when we come back to it. And some of these are a little bit humorous, but it is a huge issue. The companion pet issue is pretty big for associations. So we'll get into that when we get back.
Yeah, let's leave a little cliffhanger out there for the listeners. So if you're on the roads, drive safe. We'll be back shortly, so stay with us.
Having trouble understanding your community association's reserve study? Does your HOA's reserve study seem to be written in a strange language? Hi, I'm Robert Browning, owner of the Browning Reserve Group. At the Browning Reserve Group, we have been providing easy-to-understand reserve studies since 1999. We actually listen to our communities and help them plan for the future. Find us online at browningrg.com. That's browningrg.com, or toll free at 877-708-0600. That's 877-708-0600. Clarity from complexity, the Browning Reserve Group.
If you are a community association or manager, you know your banking relationship is vital to your success. At Sacramento Bank of Commerce, a division of Redding Bank of Commerce, our industry expertise and personal attention make that task a breeze. With our specialized banking, lockbox, online banking, and remote deposit capture, trips to the bank are no longer necessary. And Sacramento Bank of Commerce can help your communities with a loan to repair, replace, or upgrade the investment. For local decisions and in-house processing, get in touch with our team today. Call Sacramento Bank of Commerce at 916-772-0131. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Did you see the story about the Homeowners Association? I wonder what their residents think.
I don't know, but I love my condominium association. The place looks great and is well managed, and our property values are increasing.
Well, that's a good thing.
Community Associations Institute, CAI, has helped us build a great community. They have tools for safeguarding our investment, including education for our board and professional training for our manager. Just visit CAI at responsiblecommunities.com.
Okay, responsiblecommunities.com.
AM 1380, The Answer.
You're listening to the Saturday HOA Brunch presented by Angius&Terry, LLP. And now your hosts, Brad Epstein and Jonathan Broderick on AM 1380, The Answer.
Man, we almost got caught there with the hot mic. That wouldn't have been fun, right, Counselor?
Well, I think it would be fun, actually, now that I think of it.
What we said,
yeah, no kidding.
All right, so you left the listeners with a little cliffhanger.
Yeah, so what we're talking about companion pets, and we're here with Ryan Haney with CID Consortium. And so Ryan mentioned, to speak about Hot Mike, with this hot subject of the really famous local Pookie case.
And, that was a really interesting case. And I believe a couple of years ago at a luncheon, you gave a presentation on it where a HOA board basically discriminated against someone who had a disability animal. And instead of it just being a simple, okay, we just have to put up with the dog, it was a $82,000 loss for the HOA. And then I think terrible. 2 or 3 years of aggravation where the owners ended up moving out of the association and suing the association.
Perfect.
And they won in a landslide.
Look at this. We had such great communication at that luncheon. Absolutely. That is exactly it. I couldn't have said it better. It is in a community association up in Auburn, the Townhome Association. Ryan, all they allowed was cats. And so these folks who had a disability, mental disabilities, they said, well, our dog here, it helps us with our disability. Association put down the iron fist. They said, no. This is not an association with dogs, Jonathan. It's just, for cats. And so the case bounced up and around, and the judges ruled one way, the administrative judge ruled another way, went up to the Court of Appeals, and the association did get hammered. The association had to pay their own legal fees, which is about $80,000 estimated, and they had to pay $82,000 in fees to it was actually a tenant, to the tenant, the resident.
Wow.
Add it up, right, Jonathan? How much money is that?
It's a lot.
A lot.
Yeah. So, but the reason why we're talking about this little Pookie case, one, it's a popular case, but it's in regards to Assembly Bill 2760.
Exactly.
That
so
we were
2760. So let's finish that up. So 2760. So it's actually it's sponsored by CAR, California Association of Realtors, and it's about leases. But this could directly affect associations because associations have homes where they are leased, and so it provides that a residential lease may require a tenant who possesses a support animal on the rented premises or within the common areas to be subject to the following conditions. I said they're kind of humorous. One is that the tenant, they need to notify and receive approval from the landlord. The other is that the lease can require that support animal be housebroken. And so I find that kind of humorous because even a lot of people,
really?
Yeah, some people aren't even housebroken. So that support also, number 3, the support animal, it may not disturb the quiet enjoyment of others. And the presence of the animal may not jeopardize the availability of the price of insurance. So this is in general. So we have Assembly Bill 2760. It's not a law. It's going through the system, and it's providing for sort of a transfer of some rights in this whole fair housing issue that residents at community associations in general are allowed to have a companion pet now. A companion pet or a support animal is different from a service animal, you guys. What's the difference, you guys? What do you think is
Go
the
ahead,
difference?
take a crack at it, Ryan.
What's the difference? You got right, Ryan. You got a companion pet on the one hand, you got a service animal on the other side. So what's the difference between the two?
From what I understand, you're not allowed to discriminate against a service animal. We had a tenant that had a service animal, and we, by law, could not ask for paperwork on that service animal. We could not restrict that tenant in any way. That tenant was allowed to bring that dog into the building, even if the dog went to the bathroom on the on the carpet.
Stay ahead of the game, boards of directors, and start, just in case this bill goes through, start the potty trained pup committee so that you can make sure you have, a group of people that can make sure that these animals are all house trained.
Yeah, and we do have a text, and I guess we're talking about the question that the text is asking.
Oh, okay.
The difference. Yeah, so continue. So you can't discriminate against a owner with a service animal.
From what I understand, a companion, and correct me if I'm wrong, a companion animal would be more of a animal that's just there for comfort, right?
That's it. That's it. So a companion pet or support animal is an animal without any skills, right? You can't assist.
Cook for you.
Can't assist for the impaired of hearing or of sight. So it doesn't have that ability to actually do things that will anything other than being a nice, help with the emotions.
Now, with the Pookie case, that animal was a service animal, but it was a companion animal?
It was just a companion. It's just a little guy with, not the best looking dog.
A lot of heart, though.
That's what the case says, right? This is a published California court case, and it basically said, the dog really didn't have any skills other than being, just a nice little dog.
All right. So what do you want to talk about next, Counselor?
The last one we want to talk about, the last bill, this is a federal law.
They've taxed your family all.
I have to correct myself. This is a federal bill. This is a federal bill. Let's make it that clear. It is a federal bill, and it's called the Home Act. House of Representatives Act 4696, and this is, if it gets passed, it will provide for those people who pay their regular assessments to get a tax deduction up to $5,000 a year. So it'd be a new tax deduction.
Taxes with.
Everybody likes
this is
deductions.
a bill. It's not a law. It's a bill. It's not a law. And the experts' prognosis is that it has a 7% chance of getting past committee and a 3% chance of being enacted. And in comparison, only 15% of bills made it past committee, and only about 3% of bills were enacted in 2013, 2015.
Fun facts.
It's pretty important. It's a very contentious election year, and the biggest contention, I think, is that the legislators can't get anything done. So,
I thought you were going to say nobody likes the two candidates.
And 3% of bills were enacted in 2013 and 2015. Ryan, what do you think of that? Come on, it's a low number.
It's a bottleneck. In the HOA industry, we've actually talked to assembly members and senators about having changes in the industry, especially on the reserve study and collections. And it is mind-blowing how hard it is to go through the process, to have those bills written, to even just get a chance to talk to the people that write the bills. It's way too hard. But at the same time, the process is there for a reason.
Yeah, and we could talk about this for hours, but there are a lot of legislators, there's a lot of different interests, there's a lot of bills, and I cannot see how actually the legislators can deal with all that. I've seen how many bills there are. I've been on CLAC for a while, the California Association Institute, Community Association Institute.
California Legislative Action Committee for the Community Associations Institute.
It's just dizzying. For doing it and then seeing how many bills are and seeing how the process is. Wow, how can it actually get from the idea to a law in a lot of cases? It's mind-boggling.
But then you think about how some of these crazy ideas did become law.
Yeah,
at
true.
least that's how I look at it.
That is true. That is true.
Well, when you look at it, my father said it's basically like packing a sausage. They take all the different ideas and they shove it into one, and that's how they get stuff passed, because it adds a little bit from each person's interest, and that's the way that they push it through.
Right. And back to this bill, this federal bill, the idea is this tax deduction idea. It's not going to happen this year in the election year, but it might be packed with these other ideas in an omnibus bill later on. So it's a pretty decent idea, actually. The idea is that those who live in community associations pay the regular assessments, and they're paying for streets sometimes and lighting, a lot of these different issues that those who aren't in a community association pay through their taxes. And these people in community associations pay taxes also. So they're paying the taxes and they're paying the regular assessments. It needs to be worked through. We can argue about the fact that not all that assessment amount, it does go towards the streets and the lights.
Excellent. Do we want to do our due diligence to our contestants real quick and run through fiduciary duty, the bullet points of fiduciary duty?
I think that our two board members,
the contestants, are solid.
Are solid when it comes to fiduciary duty, really.
Okay.
I mean, the basic ideas they know are that as a board member, you do have heightened duty. You do have to act in the best interest of the association as a whole. You can't favor a particular constituent. That if there's a decision you're making and it's outside your expertise, you have to consult with a competent consultant. For instance, you have an accounting issue and no one on the board is a CPA, then you have to go to
an expert.
Don Haney or Adam Haney. Don or Adam over at CID Consortium, because it's outside your expertise.
Rely on your experts. If you're a board member, you can't. And it's because they have the duty of care, duty of loyalty, right? Those are two things that are important when you're a board member that's elected.
Right. You got to go to board meetings. You got to make the decisions.
Reasonable decisions, too.
Right.
And you can't do anything in your own interest. So directors, they're going to have to, like you said, act in the best interest of the association as a whole and not just what benefits themselves. Wouldn't you agree, Ryan? That's their fiduciary duty is to enhance and protect the asset, which is the association, which is the buildings.
Yeah, and one question I have for Brad real quick. Wasn't there legislation passed recently someone was trying to push it through, where an association could hold a board member accountable if the board member did not follow their fiduciary duty? Absolutely.
Right. You could be liable. We have a text, and the text is saying that it's more of a statement. The whole idea of community associations came about and because of Prop 13, and a lot of our listeners probably aren't old enough to know this. Back in the 70s, this is Proposition 13, and it provided that our property taxes were limited to 1%. You couldn't start adding up things on property taxes like other states. This is California. And so the idea is that community associations sprung up, and they took care of the municipal different kind of features such as streets and lighting. And so to help these owners who are in community associations to sort of make up the difference, that's what the Home Act, the bill, the federal bill, H.R. 4696, provides for the $5,000 a year tax deduction. So maybe it'll get passed. We'll have to see. So thank you for the text.
Excellent. The text line comes to life again. Okay, we're going to go to break. When we come back, Jessica and Michelle are going to duke it out in Battle of the Board Members.
Hi, I'm Morgan Fussell. My company, Broadband Agreements, negotiates cable television and broadband right of entry, access, and compensation agreements for your communities. At Broadband Agreements, we offer a free review of all agreements with a signed letter of authorization. Broadband Agreements will improve your community's income and/or savings, or you don't pay us a dime. Visit us at broadbandagreements.com. That's broadbandagreements.com. Or call me, Morgan Fussell, directly at 916-939-5026. That's 916-939-5026. Broadband Agreements online at broadbandagreements.com or 916-939-5026.
The challenges presented by today's economy and rebounding housing market is forcing many homeowners association boards of directors to operate their HOAs more like a business. It's a balancing act of trying to stay solvent and still provide homeowners with quality amenities and services. One of the main challenges HOA boards are facing is attempting to recover unpaid HOA fees owed by delinquent homeowners. Collection efforts are often very time-consuming. If you want to get the HOA fees collection monkey off of your back, call ATC Assessment Collection Group. ATC is an attorney-supervised collection company providing collection and foreclosure services to HOAs in both California and Nevada's most recognizable communities. Get back to what you actually volunteered to do as an HOA board member. Effectively oversee your community. Call ATC today at 916-641-1410. That's 916-641-1410. Online at atcacg.com. That's atcacg.com. ATC Assessment Collection Group. Professional Parking Enforcement, or PPE, was created to provide effective parking solutions for all types of parking issues. PPE focuses on parking problems of HOAs and can quickly eliminate these problems through their system of property inspection, violation updating, ticketing, and enforcement. Contact PPE today at 702-283-0628, online at ppenv.com. PPE, promoting harmony in HOAs through parking and compliance enforcement. We take time to understand your community's needs.
Silver Creek Association Management.
We solve small problems before they become big ones.
Silver Creek Association Management.
We help make your community a better place to live.
Silver Creek Association Management.
It's what we do, because an association is more than just a bunch of homes. It's a community of people. We work with you to make better communities so homeowners can enjoy better lives.
Silver Creek Association Management. Online at sc-manage.com. That's sc-manage.com.
This is AM 1380, The Answer.
You're listening to the Saturday HOA Brunch presented by Angius&Terry, LLP. And now your hosts, Brad Epstein and Jonathan Broderick on AM 1380, The Answer.
Welcome back, and we are ready to play Battle of Board Members. We want to know if our board members are ready.
Jessica, Michelle, are you guys still there?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, we hope you're enjoying yourselves a little bit, even though I convinced you into coming and joining us on the radio on a sunny Saturday morning. So we're glad that you're still
Where
indoors.
would they rather be?
Well, look at this weather outside. I could.
Oh, what a
think
great
of
day.
A lot of ideas. Ryan's over here thinking about his next hike or fishing trip. So
right, but we do have prizes, right?
Yeah, so that's
$100 to our first place winner, $50 to our second place winner in the form of gift cards.
Excellent. Okay, so we're going to let the defending champion choose first today whether or not they'd like to go first or second. So Jessica, would you like to go first, or would you like to pass and give Michelle the first crack at it?
I'll give Michelle the first crack at it.
All right, sounds good.
Generous.
So, Counselor.
All right, Michelle.
Okay.
What we're going to do is we're going to have 2 rounds. Each round has 3 questions. And so the first 3 questions are going to be for Michelle. And then when Jonathan gets back on, he'll give 3 questions to Jessica. So these are just for Michelle. Michelle, number 1. True or false? True or false? A state bill is pending that would allow automatic election of candidates to the board when the number of candidates does not exceed the number of open seats.
That is true.
Perfect. Number 2. A director may favor the owners that voted for the director.
Oh, false.
False. Excellent. That's the fiduciary duty. Great job, Michelle. Number 3. The California Association of Realtors is sponsoring a bill to allow landlords to terminate leases when a tenant fails to comply with conditions regarding their support animal.
Oh, let me look at my notes.
She's great.
She's prepared.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, Lordy.
You want me to say it again?
Yeah.
The California Association of Realtors is sponsoring a bill to allow landlords to terminate leases when a tenant fails to comply with conditions regarding their support animal.
Oh, true.
That is right. Ryan, how'd she do?
3 out of 3.
3 out of 3. All right. Well, you know how I like to spoil my contestants. So, the defending champion coming to us from Natomas. Jessica, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So, first question. A board must consult with a competent consultant in order to make a decision on a matter for which no board members have an expertise.
True.
Got it. A board member's duty includes attending and participating in board meetings.
That's true.
A federal law gives owners a tax deduction for the regular assessments that they pay to their associations. Man, this is a...
It's tough.
Got it. 3 out of 3. Right, Ryan? Can you confirm the score?
Yep.
And Jessica, why is number 3 false?
Because they're still trying to get it through.
Awesome. That's
Check
great.
They actually listen to us. They don't just put us on mute.
That was my trick question. All right. Okay, Michelle, back to you.
Oh, I'm not done? Okay.
She wishes. All right, this is your last 3 questions, Michelle.
Okay.
The business judgment rule protects directors from personal liability if they make decisions in accordance with their fiduciary duty.
True.
That's correct. Nice job. Directors may not delegate any decisions to the association's manager.
False.
Correct. A California bill allows landlords to evict tenants if their support animals are not housebroken.
Let's see. Back to my notes. True.
Perfect. Right, Ryan? Didn't you get it perfect?
Yep.
Perfect score. All right, Jessica, let's go. Let's run through these, and hopefully we'll have some time, because I'm thinking we might have to use this tiebreaker question today. Jessica, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. A court will not overturn a board's decision if the board complies with its fiduciary duty.
True.
Directors must always have a reasonable basis for their decisions.
True.
A board may never make a decision that inadvertently, disproportionately favors a director.
That's true.
Ooh, no, it's false.
Oh.
I'm going to repeat the question for you, though, Jessica, but you're still a winner on the Saturday HOA brunch. So, a board may never make a decision that inadvertently or disproportionately favors a director.
That's the key word, right?
Yeah.
Inadvert, yeah. I mean, it could happen. It's like we make decisions. Okay, what are we going to do first? We're going to go ahead, when we phase out the tree trimming, we're going to go ahead and do it geographically. So one portion of the development, we'll trim that first. Hey, it may inadvertently, disproportionately favor a director.
Jessica, Michelle, thank you so much for taking time on your Saturday. We hope you did learn something today from the show.
Thank you so much, you guys.
We really appreciate it. I'll get a hold of you guys on Monday, and we'll get you guys some gift card orders.
And we want to thank our head writer, T. McPherson, and our editor-in-chief, Timothy Adam Epstein.
And Ryan Haney for joining us.
But here it
is.
Thank you so much, Ryan.
Here's the zinger for Ryan. I'm gonna ask him the tiebreaker question and see how close he can get. So we have 30 seconds. Here's the tiebreaker question. Since we talked about bills in the legislature today, the California State Capitol opened in what year?
Oh my gosh!
Just throw a number out there.
I don't know. 1897.
Wow, he was pretty close. 1874. 1874.
Transposed.
And I also think we'd be a lot better off if we actually talked to each other.